A massive screen suddenly unfolded, blocking the entire hallway. Behind it, a scanning device activated. By the time the guard returned from the restroom, a holographic projection had already been generated, showing the exact image of the hallway's far end. His pupils were immediately locked onto the image. This meant that even as he moved, the hologram shifted perspective to match what his eyes should see. The person behind the screen pressed a sound device. The sound of dripping water echoed through the hall. Thinking a faucet had been left on, the guard stood up to investigate. Seizing the moment, two agents lifted the screen and quickly moved forward. As soon as they heard the guard returning, they froze in place. When the guard sat back down, the man triggered another water drop sound. This time, the sound reflected from behind the guard, making him think the wall was leaking. Taking advantage of the distraction, the two continued moving and soon reached the file room door. But just as they stopped, a faint noise caught the guard's attention. He stood and looked around, but seeing nothing unusual, resumed his search elsewhere. The agents carefully lowered the screen, and the assistant began accessing the computer. However, as he stood up, his body accidentally blocked the scanner, causing his face to flash briefly on the holographic screen. Luckily, he ducked away just in time. The guard thought he was imagining things. Once the projection stabilized, the lead agent inserted a card reader into the steel door on the left. Under the guard's watchful eyes, he quietly slipped into the file room. But the data tape they were after was empty. Someone had already taken it. Even worse, their communication channel had been intercepted, and the head of security had been alerted. At the same time, a guard changing shifts noticed something odd. The back and forth movement in the pupil scanner was causing the image to flicker. Fortunately, the agent had already begun to retreat. He stayed calm, even nodding politely to the security chief as he passed. Only when no one was watching did he break into a light jog and slip out through a side door. Seconds later, a huge explosion erupted behind him, knocking him unconscious. What exactly had happened? A few weeks earlier, they had received a mission: intercept a classified document in a crowded train station. The problem was, they didn't even know the target's name. To solve this, the female agent used force to extract the name from an enemy contact. With that information, they used smart contact lenses with facial recognition to lock onto the target. A teammate then injected a tranquilizer into the man's finger and grabbed his data bag. But just as he was leaving, a female assassin appeared, killed him, and took the file. That file turned out to contain nuclear launch codes. According to intel, it had already been sold on the black market. Their new orders were clear: infiltrate the Kremlin archives and uncover the true identity of someone known only by the codename Cobalt.